Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back. We're going to continue factoring quadratics, and today we're going to start looking at what's called the slide method. Guys, we use the slide method when there's an a in front of the x squared, and a is not 1. Again, so today's objective is to factor a quadratic that looks like ax squared plus bx plus c, where a is not 1. All right, using the slide method. You kind of see it right here where the 8 is slid back times the 3, so you get 24 here. And this way, the second quadratic you see now just has x squared, and we know how to factor that one. And then you do some other things after this. All right, today's essential question. You'll need this for the homework check. Again, just how do we factor a quadratic when a does not equal 1? You kind of see it here. You take the 12, slide it back, times the 4. That's 48. Then you factor this quadratic right here. We know how to do that. All right? You divide the slide. We slid back the 12, so you divide it out, simplify, and then it's called bottom up, where you bottom up that denominator back in front of the x. All right? We'll go through that. Guys, earlier again, we learned how to factor a quadratic that looks like this, where a equals 1. We got pretty good at that. We learned we can go straight for the answer. And we're looking for two numbers once we get the signs right. Well, now we're going to factor a quadratic that looks like this, where a does not equal 1. There's a number in front of the x squared. So we can't just go straight for the answer. And again, basically, how do we factor one that looks like this? We just make it look like this. All right? We take the a and slide it back times the c. So we make it look like that, and then factor the quadratic that looks like this, where a is 1, because we know how to do that. Again, if given a quadratic and it looks like this, guys, the first thing, just check for a GCF before you slide back the a. Again, we learned that. Sometimes the a in front of the x squared, it's the greatest common factor. You can just take it out. But a lot of times you can't. When you cannot get rid of the a, just slide it back. You see how this works? You slide it back times the c, and when it looks like this, we know how to factor it. All right, we're going to look at 4 examples. Here's the first one, 7x squared plus 15x plus 2. There is no greatest common factor there. That's already simplified. So we have to take the 7 and slide it back times the 2, and that's how we get the 14 here. Now we know how to factor this quadratic. All right, that factors into x plus 14 and x plus 1. All right, because 14x plus 1x gives us the 15x in the middle. Guys, the next step then is called divide the slide. Remember, we slid back a 7. So once you factor it, divide both of those numbers by 7. All right, then simplify that. 14 divided by 7 is 2. And then 1 over 7 is already simplified. But don't leave it look like 1 over 7. Take the 7 in the denominator here and just bottom up, it's called. Put it in front of the x in that factor. See how we did that? The 7 just moves right in front of that x. And that's our answer. And you can double check your answer again to make sure if you multiply this out, you get what we started with, the quadratic we started with. This is the quadratic in factored form. All right, let's look at another one. This is example number 2. 5x squared minus 11x plus 6. And guys, there is no greatest common factor here. I cannot get rid of that 5 by just factoring out a GCF. So I have to slide back that 5 times the 6, so I get 30. Again, now we know how to factor this. Again, the signs are the same. They're both negative in this case. All right, 5 plus 6 gives you the 11, and they're both negative. All right, then you divide by the slide. We slid back a 5. So right here we divide both of those numbers again by 5. We have to divide it back out because we multiplied it when we brought it back. All right, 5 over 5 is just 1. So simplify that. But 6 over 5, it's already simplified. So leave it like that. But then bottom up the 5. Take the 5 in the denominator here and just move it in front of the x. It's kind of like you multiply this factor here, both numbers by 5. That's kind of what you do there. All right, then you can double check your answer too, just to make sure. Go ahead and foil this up or put it in the box, and you'll see that's what we started with. All right, example number 3. This is one where the signs are different. Again, 3x squared plus x minus 14. There is no greatest common factor, so I just have to slide back to 3. So now it looks like this, because 3 times 14 is 42, and it stays negative. Now we know how to factor this one. Again, the signs are different. So we're looking for two numbers. When you subtract them, you get 1. And that's 7 and 6. All right. We slid back to 3 originally. So we divide the slide, which was 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 7 over 3 is already simplified. Then just bottom up that 3. Put the 3 in front of the x. All right, and that's our answer. All right, the last one. And this is one where both signs are negative. But remember, that means that the signs in our answer are different. Again, you can look and see 3x squared minus 17x minus 6. It does not have a greatest common factor. So we have to slide back that 3 to start to factor it. So 3 times 6 is 18, and it's negative 18. All right, and we know that 18 minus 1 is 17. All right, it's really negative 18 plus 1. The difference between them is 17. All right, then divide the slide. We slid back a 3. So divide both of those numbers by 3. 18 divided by 3 is 6. And then 1/3, take the 3 and bottom up and put it in front of that x there, okay? And you can check your answer. Double check your answer. Look at the first term. All right, and look at the last term. That's a good way to do it real quick. 3x times x, yep, that's 3x squared. And negative 6 times 1, yep, that's negative 6. Don't worry, guys. We'll practice this a couple days, and you'll hopefully get good at it. Guys, please complete the homework check. Guys, and again, the homework check is the essential question, and you're going to place those 6 steps in order. Drag them in order, the 6 steps for factoring a quadratic using the slide method. All right, that's it. Thanks.